morning, good morning, good morning. It's 6:30 Hawaii Standard Time, and we are talking about Google and Notion. I'm making Notion my primary place for keeping stuff and creating new resources where I'm storing a lot of my frameworks, my IP, as opposed to Google Drive. Now, I'm still doing some of it in Google, and Google I'm using more for storing my images, my social media, like B-roll, things that I'm capturing, because that's how I pull it in from Canva so that I'm not using all my phone storage for some of that. But comparing the two it's sometimes confusing for some people. I'm a visual learner. I do not actually like Notion, but I'm in this game mindset that I'm here to win. I'm here to be organized, be an adult in my business, and I can see the power. A lot of people have been saying use Notion as their brain. I've actually been seeing more ads, probably because Big Brother's listening, but I wanted to see it for myself. I don't like just listening to people without testing it because some things just don't work for everybody. But in this case, I agree. It's a little bit anxiety driven being in Notion because, again, I like Google because it makes me feel like it's a more of a visual suite, and Notion is not. But I do know that there is a way, and I am getting trained on it so that I can create resources for all my other visual ADHD owners or business owners who are like me but don't have the same drive to get shit done. So here we go. I got the baby monitor on. We're gonna do this. I'm in my PJs. No judgment, 6:30. My baby's asleep. I'm exposing just my chest. Don't get excited. But what I want you to do is right here, down, follow your sternum, okay? And you'll see there's two parts of it. Follow it down, usually with your pointing finger. I like my middle finger because it's stronger, so I'm not flipping y'all off. Try to keep my finger, my pointing and my middle together so y'all don't get getting a hate comment. So you want to find the place right. You'll feel it. You'll feel the hard part, and then you go right above it, and you'll feel this space. That's your intercostal rib cage. And what you're going to find is right next to the sternum, you'll find a little spot, and you're just going to make little circles with your fingers. And when you feel a spot that's especially feeling special, you're like, do not back up. Keep breathing and making those circles. And then you do it for just one or two breaths, and then you move up and you find your next ones. And then here's my next one. Oh, right here on the right side, you guys. These are pressure points. They are involved with your immune system. This is how we wake up our chi, clear up some of this energy blocks. This is where you're holding a lot of energy when you're stressed. Y'all, I even tried to do this yesterday, and then I gotta focus, otherwise I can't do this with you guys. The next one. Oh, wait, not even in the same spot. Push a little bit harder. You don't want to hurt yourself, but you see my skin's turning red. I'm putting a fair amount of pressure. Breathe, and then you just want to clear it out by being like Jane or Tarzan, depending on who you are. Hands up, inhale, exhale. And that's how you wake up. Your chi, I feel it, dude. Like my armpits are getting sweaty. I'm waking it up. So there you go. There's a little another wellness thing that I just wanted to share with y'all. We are talking again about Notion versus Google Drive for your business specifically, and which one works in 2026, especially with AI. But I do want to just say that they're not just like these random tools. And I think comparing Google to Notion is literally comparing a house to a filing cabinet. Okay. And I made this in Notebook LM. If you guys don't know about Notebook LM and want me to do a live on that one, I might be willing to. The main thing that I want to just talk about today is that I use both of these tools every day. And I'm going to tell you what I use each one for, which one is better than the other, and my honest answer for which one you should actually use. And moving forward in 2026, especially if you're using things like AI to train your language models. Now, the first thing you need to understand is, again, they're very different in what they do. When you think of Google Drive, you think of it as your filing cabinet. It literally stores files. So your documents, your spreadsheets, your PDFs, your image videos, it's storage. And what I do like about it is that for things that you are sharing client facing, I feel like Google is a little bit more user friendly. I got really anxious when I was sharing things from my Notion because they have these things called cookie crumbs where I was like, no, 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 I don't want to share this because what if it leads to the main document where I have all my IP? But I talked with AI, I talked with Notion, and they're like, no, 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 that's not how it works. I had to go to like an incognito window to verify, but it can happen. But I do find that I like it better sharing documents from Google Notion. Now, Notion is more of like your business brain. It really organizes your thinking, as chaotic as it might look when you start really putting your work to it. It really does organize things by projects. It organizes all your SOPs. You can put content calendars, databases, dashboards to help you visually stay organized. It is really used as your operating system for your business. The real question is which one is better for you? Now, I feel like Google wins for beginners. If you have Gmail, you already have Drive, it's just part of your suite. You need to get some stuff done. It's just really quick. You can get the app on your phone. You access it literally in any Chrome, Google website. There's really no learning curve. You know how basic folders work if you are using computers and it's done. Now, Notion, though, has a learning curve. It's crazy powerful. I will give it that, but it can be overwhelming at first. And I'll be honest, I'm not its friend yet. So for me, I'm learning my own journey right now. But the things that it can do once you pass that initial, what the heck am I looking at phase, I think is going to be worth it. And I'm like holding that vision of myself mastering being a rock star in Notion to pretty much help me with this. So if you've never used either of the tool in your business, I would say start with Google Drive first. Get your files organized and then you can start adding Notion to your business. When you start to really create things at a larger scale in your business, I think it's really good to have something that works from a strategic standpoint. I tend to like Trello, but Trello is really hard to integrate into other things. And with I need to be able to train my language models really fast, especially when I'm working on specific projects and I don't want to have everything, say, on my drive. And this is something that I can really easily switch between my desktop and my laptop. Google Drive is really great for backing up like your custom GPT instructions. For that, I think my go-to if I really needed to look at a custom GPT and its source prompt, I'm going to go look to what it created for me in Google Drive. So your brand voice docs, your skill files, I think those are great places for storing your backup one that you're never going to touch and you're only going to keep just in case something happens with the bots and they might change things that didn't need to. And then they say, well, I can't go back. Well, you don't want to be in that situation. So keeping a hard drive as your backup in Google is pretty much how I'm doing my stuff. It is essentially like your backup vault. Think of it like your belt and suspenders insurance policy as we're moving into more AI driven society. Now, Notion is great for more of your working dashboard. So, your custom GPT Vault database, that's what we basically built at the end of day one. Your content calendar, it's really great because you can even have it go through your Gmail calendar. You can connect it through an MCP just like you would in Claude or any of these other language models where you're connecting it as a third party. And then it'll pull from that. And then if you have separate content calendars of things that you're using for it to help you organize and create, it will pull all of it in and give you literally a summary right in the dashboard. It's really cool. Now I'm starting to see why people like it. And so, like I said, baby steps for me. You can pay for Notion. It has its own AI in there built in. You can see your AI agent team, like the blueprint of what you have. there's really cool ways for sorting, for filtering, for viewing. You can connect your information really easily. And so I'm starting to learn the little tips and shortcuts on your keyboard to really speed up my build outs in Notion. But the cool thing is that Claude is very good in Notion. Like I told you, I can see a difference where I try to get Claude to create something and it gives me the option to import into my drive because I have it connected in Claude. And then it will ask me if I want to create it in Notion. And when I look to see what it looks like in Google and compare it to what it looks like when it actually creates it in Notion, it's such a big difference. You can see that the language model really understands how to talk to Notion and build in Notion versus Google. When you build in Google, especially through Claude, one of these more advanced language models, I feel like they are husband and wife, and you can see where they didn't get along. Formatting and stuff gets messed up. Not in Notion though. So that's a win for me. So I'm basically starting to create most things in Notion now. And then as I'm moving things, as I'm building skills, my MD files, all of that, I'm hosting in Notion with Google again as my backup. It might feel like you're doing redundant work and it's taking up more time, but I think in the end it is definitely worth it. Okay. So again, I like the way that Notion looks. Think of the studio on the go, things that you need to access. I think you still have the opportunity to do both, but look at the difference in the dynamics of what it looks like when you're in a Google version of your phone and how it pretty much looks exactly the same when you're in your like a desktop or laptop. And then think of it like your studio. And then when you really need like expansive look at it, you can look at the office. And that's what it looks like. That's what you can create the dashboard to look like. That's where my end game is in really helping me create assets to really bring things together visually like this because this is how I want my business to look like so that I have everything in a written format that would basically be stored in Google, just basic text, nothing fancy, but there's no connection. I'd have to open up multiple tabs with multiple Google Docs to be able to see what I can now easily see in this dashboard version here on the right. So hopefully you're starting to see what I'm really meaning with this. And I really think from a collaboration and sharing, Google is just the thing that is really easier for sharing files with other people's, whether that's client contracts or collaboration docs, sharing folders with your VA. Everyone knows how to open up a Google link. They don't have to have a Notion. Not everybody's using Notion. I think Notion is better for internal work, like your SOPs, things like that. If you have a client, I think a Notion link, half of them don't know what to do with it. Sometimes they get put off because it asks them, depending on how you have the share settings, to log in and create a Notion link. And I just have like still gives me a little bit of anxiety when I'm trying to share something in a Notion folder where I have multiple breadcrumbs leading to my main document with all my IP. And I'm like, see, this makes me nervous. I don't like this. I'm going to go and recreate this in Google. It's going to take me a little bit longer, but I don't care. And so that's a personal decision for me. Again, if I send them an asset, I'm probably client facing stuff, I'm going to be sending it by Google. But if it's internal, like business stuff, it's all going to be most likely in Notion moving forward. Take off your possibility scarves. We've already talked enough about the two differences and start putting on your decision crown and decide which one's going to be what you're going to focus on, or are you going to try to do both? It just really depends where you are in your business. Some people don't even have their stuff together enough to really make that distinction yet. So you may just want to get everything organized and systemized in your Google Drive first, and then you can start organizing and really bringing it to life in your Notion. Okay. Because Notion has a free thing. I'm on the free thing, but I do think that you need both. And so this isn't about which one you should use. I think that we need to start using them together. And I know that's not like the sexy answer or like, and kind of you're supposed to help me make a decision. That's not what this is about. It's about giving you the information so you can make informed decisions because that I love awareness is power. Now, Notion, I feel like, is the front door to the house that we are building, your empire. And then the Google Drive is your filing room. So your team, or maybe if it's just you, you're a team of one, goes to Notion first to find what you need. And then the actual files live in Google Drive behind it. I really feel like I'd like to have certain things, key things as backups so that I'm safeguarded in case something gets accidentally deleted or tweaked and I need to get back the original one. It's just always good to have backup, especially when you start working with agentic AI. Okay. So things to maybe start thinking about, like a simple starter framework for where to put things and how to get started for your Google Drive. I would think things like your brand voice files, skill files to be as backups, any kind of client contracts, any media kits, course materials, anything that you need to share externally, financial docs, legal docs, that kind of stuff. But in your Notion, I think content calendars, if you want to start creating one, think of using it inside because you don't want to put your content strategy inside your calendar. That's going to take up too much space. You're going to get bombarded. When you look, you really want to have a clean view of your calendar. That's why Notion's really great because you can just create calendars for specific things and then it pulls it all in for you together without you having to do anything. Your custom GPT vault, you saw that I've created mine. A launch tracker, if you're having things that you need to organize by either date, checklist kind of thing, all in the same document. It's fantastic. SOPs, blueprints for maybe your AI agents, meeting notes, project dashboards, your business operating system, all should be really in Notion. You can create a weekly flow. You can plan in Notion, store in your drive, and then connect both to Claude so Claude can help you take care of a lot of the heavy lifting, especially if you start and you just have to give Claude the name of the file or the name of the folder you started, and it pretty much starts to help you get started. So I really wanted to just come on and give you this. This is what I just talked to you about of what you should do. You can get a screenshot of that and start using this. Again, it's not going to feel good or safe or easy until what? You practice. So I really think that I'm loving the collaboration of both, and I have to give big shout outs to Claude for really helping me step forward into Notion because had it not been for Claude, I probably would still not be using Notion because I straight up stared at it. I was like, this is too complicated. And I walked out. And I was just like, well, since Claude connects to Notion, we started doing stuff. I was like, I would love to have this in Notion. Can you make that happen? It's like, absolutely. And I was like, oh, game changer. So your homework for tonight, this is your inspired action that I want you to take to create. If you've never started using Google Drive, where have you been? One and two, no judgment, but we need to start. So create a folder, name it your My AI Vault, and then start dropping your brand voice documents. If you have an actual style guide for your brand, drop it in there. Any skill files or custom GPTs that you've already created, I would also put in there. And then in your Notion, the same exact one, but you're also going to add a content calendar. Maybe you should put in there an offer tracker. These are, again, just recommendations, or you can start your GPT vault or skill vault or whatever works for you. And that's it. Continue to be you, continue to be beautiful, continue leading from your heart.
Look, we're not doing everything today. We're doing one thing, and we're doing it now.